Hola friends, it's Sherry with Sharing Sherry, and I'm here for a project share and a little tutorial. It's for a little note card set in a box. I was inspired by Tamika with Scrap the World. She did a little tutorial off of a project that she found on the Silhouette design store. So I will link that video in the box below, along with Crafty Caroline. She's a Stampin' Up demonstrator in the UK, and she inspired the box. What I did was I kind of tweaked the measurements so that you could create the envelopes and little note cards, but the envelopes using 6x6 paper and your envelope punch board by We Are Memory Keepers. So I made a few of these boxes as a sample. This is one of them, and what it does is it slides open like this with this little belly band, and the box opens up like so, and there's 4 note cards and envelopes inside. These are the 4 little note cards that I made. Very simple, but what a great gift this would make. And then these are my 4 envelopes. This is the one of the ones I took a little bit more time on. This particular one, I distressed all my edges with the Distress ink by Ranger Tim Holtz. This is the vintage photo. So I distressed all my edges on this particular box set. I put the lid back on. I'll show you a little closer look. I put some flat back pearls on the bottom as little feet. I added some wild orchid flowers, some pearls, and this little pin I added. It's a pearl pin. It's this from Milo Road. I just used my wire snips and cut it down and placed that right there. And then I stamped this little dream off of a very, very old Stampin' Up set. Put some little flat back pearls there. And here's the back. These are super easy to make. Of course, you can spend as much time as you want making them. Most of the cards are the same. I just took some vellum on this particular card and inked it up with the Distress ink, put a piece of the pattern paper, 3 pearls, and then I ran my sewing machine down this vellum after I tore it and put some more of that Distress ink on there and distressed the thread. I also distressed this little flower by Recollections that I got at Hobby Lobby. I also, this is, of course, sorry, I'm going all over the place. This is Tales of You and Me by Frank Garcia with Prima. The size of this is really cool too, because you can use the 3x4 journaling cards, and I just cut them down. A couple of these cards in here are from the 3x4 note card set, or journaling note card set. So I think it was, I don't remember which ones. Anyways, they work. And then you just need 6x6. You can actually create this whole project with 6x6, but I did need a piece of 12x12 to go around the belly band, but you could also piece that together with a 6x6 and end up using a 6x6 piece of pattern cardstock, or use the 6x6 and get away with doing this project. I did use a 12x12 for the band here, and I just cut it down to make the box, the band, and the note cards. So this is Prima Tales of You and Me. This one I spent a little bit more time on, but I just wanted to show you some of the projects I came up with. Super simple. Again, I want to thank Tamika from Scrap the World and Crafty Caroline for inspiring this project. So let's get started. This one here, boy, what happened? Did I die? I don't know. It seems like the light went out or something. You still there? Anyhow, this one is from a Walmart color box paper pad. Not the greatest quality of paper. My envelope tore, but it came out cute. So this slides off, and here's the back, and very simple note cards and envelopes. I just put a little flower with a little banner, and here's the little envelopes. Just, you can see those out of the pattern paper. So there's that one. Put that back on. The next one I did was, I didn't put anything on the top or bottom, but this is out of the Design Cuts with a View Magnolia Way paper stack. It's an old paper stack, but it's pretty. And here's the front and back. And this one, this is actually where I got the idea from Tamika, off of that Silhouette Design Store project. I just took a little banner, punched a heart, sewed it on, and there's vellum under here too. Then you take that negative piece and you stick it in the card here. So these are all the same except for the pattern paper. I used two different kinds. And then here's the envelopes. So that one's from that Magnolia Way stack. I got two more, sorry guys. I don't have to put that on. Yes, I do. Yeah, OCD. Okay, so there's three. Then this paper line is from Design Cuts with a View. It's the Midnight Berry. Again, I have the very old paper stacks, but God, I'm finding some use for them, which is really cool. Here's the front of that one. I just layered up a flower and then put a crystal in there, and I fussy cut this flower. Here's the back, and these in here. Again, I did the same concept, just cut a banner, cut out the heart there, and put the negative in there. And here's my envelopes. So 4 envelopes, 4 gift cards. And the last one I'm going to show you is the one I did a tutorial on. In the tutorial, I didn't decorate everything. I didn't embellish everything. I was just showing you the basics. But here's what I ended up coming up with for the final design. It's a little butterfly, and it's got 2 crystals there and a little dragonfly. And you open it up, and I put just a little Martha Stewart butterfly cut out piece of the pattern paper. I just distressed the edges with my scissors. I just ran my scissors along the side of the card like so. And those are the 4 cards and the 4 envelopes. And this one was made out of the Design Cuts with a View garden party stack. Another old stack, but beautiful, beautiful. So these are my creations. Again, you can spend as much time or as little time as you want. Well, not as little, but you know what I'm saying. You can really go for it, or you can make them pretty simple. So stay tuned for the tutorial. If you like it, please give me a thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed, please do so. Alrighty, see you in a sec. Okay, so for this project, what you're going to need is a piece of 10 by 7 cardstock. You're also going to need 4 pieces cut at 6 by 4 and scored at 3 inches. You're going to need 4 6 by 6 pieces of pattern paper. You're going to need some matte pieces for your box, and I will give you the dimensions of those here in a minute. You're also going to need a piece of cardstock that measures 1 by 12 and a piece of pattern paper that measures 3/4 by 12. Okay, so let's start with the base of the box. With your scoreboard, what you're going to do is you are going to score at, okay, we are going to score at 2 inches, and this is on the 10-inch side. 2 inches, 3 1/4 inches, 6 1/2 inches, and 7 3/4 inches. Okay, rotate your paper, and then you're going to score at 1 1/4 inches. And then you're going to score at 5 3/4. Okay. Also at this point, if you want to get out your 6 by 4 and score at 3. I've already done that on mine. These are for the note cards. Okay. So, put my scoreboard away. Get your bone folder, and you're going to go ahead and fold and burnish all of those score lines. Score. Okay, so now your piece should look something like this. Now one of these ends is the top and one is the bottom. One's the base of the box, and then this flips over. The longer one is the top of the box. On that top piece, which measures 2 1/4, you notice the other one only measures 2. The one that measures 2 1/4, which is this one, you're going to take a ruler and you're going to mark up 1 1/4 inches. Okay, I got 1 1/4. Put a little mark there. Usually I just use my mat. So I'm going to go up on this side to 1 1/4. Then you're going to take your scissors and you are going to cut from that scored corner to the piece you just marked, and you're going to cut at an angle to that corner. Just like so. Do it on both sides. From the crease, from the score line to that pencil mark. And I'm just going to erase those little marks so you can't see them. Okay, now you're going to take your scissors and you're going to snip on these 4 blocks right here. You're going to snip. You're going to snip all the way up to that first score line, and then you're going to taper in. I like to make sure that I get pretty much on the outside of that first score line in there, so that it'll fold up nicely. Okay. So up through here and snip. Okay, same on this side. Repeat that on all 4 of those blocks. Okay, so now your piece should look something like this. Now remember that this is going to be the top of your box, okay? At this point, I go ahead and mat my box. So, your matting pieces, I already have those pre-cut. You don't have to mat these, the top and the bottom. I do, I just think that it looks cuter. Now remember, this is going to be the top, so it's going to be going down, so you want to make sure that your pieces are directional. This is the back, this is the bottom. This piece right here, the mat back is 4 1/4 by 3, okay, and then your top flap is 4 1/4 by 2. This is your top. Your bottom front is 4 1/4 by 1 3/4. So now remember, you got to change the direction. So, oh, actually it's going to go this way because that's going to go up. If you don't have a directional pattern, it doesn't really matter, but if you have a directional pattern, you really want to pay attention. And this is the bottom, so the top is like this. So I'm going to go ahead and mat all these. Just take my trusty glue glider. And center that over. There we have that. Alright, now I'm using Beacon Fabri-Tac. I love this glue. Okay, so now when we fold all this up, this is going to be our bottom. I got that directional piece on right, thank goodness. And then this will be our top, like so. So we're going to start out by gluing the bottom. These pieces are going to actually, this piece is going to go on the outside of this piece, like so. So, fold these in and put some glue on this side, right here. Fold that up and place that there, like so. Can you see that? And I make sure this is flush on the inside. Okay. Do the same thing on this side. Put the glue on this flap right here. Okay. And make it flush on there and push it up. Okay. You can set this down to make sure it's flush. Now I'm going to glue these two flaps here onto these sides. One thing, if you notice, I don't know if you can see it, but do you see the little bump where my score line is? I'm just going to trim that just a little bit. I don't like that there. It's going on the outside and trim that off a little bit. Come on. Maybe. There we go. Alright. So now I'm going to fold up my two bottom sides. So I'm going to go ahead and put glue here. And again, you want to make sure that lines up at the bottom. You can set it on your work surface if you want. And just hold that down. Okay. And the other side. Hold that for a second. Okay. So our bottom is done. Okay, now the top. Oh, I don't like that little piece hanging on there. Okay. Got them on both sides. Dropping my cursor. Okay. Excuse me. Now these two flaps are going to be glued to the inside of these. Now because we cut this part at an angle, make sure there's nothing hanging off. Excuse me, when you go and glue these down, because you're going to want it to be flush right here. I'm sorry. So notice when this piece is flush with this piece, that little corner sticks out. I'm sorry guys, pardon me. So what I do is I trim this off just a little bit more at a bigger angle, and that way when this piece is flush with the lid, you can't see it on the outside anymore. I hope that makes sense. So I just do a little test here before I glue it. This one's just barely good. It's not hanging over. Excuse me. Okay, so now I'm going to put glue on this flap. And go ahead and now this is where you want it to be flush right here. You want this edge to be flush. Okay, looks pretty good. Got a lot of little hangouties. Little barnacles. Okay. And do the same on this side. Some glue. And this is going to go straight down, flush with that edge of the back of the box. Okay, hold those in place for a second. And voila, and there you have it. Okay, so there's your little box. All right, so now excuse me, what we're going to do is we're going to have our 4 6x6s. These are for our envelopes. So, got your trusty envelope punch board. And for the 6x6, it ends up being a card size of 3x4. You're going to punch at 2 5/8. So 2 5/8, and score. Line up that score mark. Punch. We all know how to do this, hopefully. Hope my big old head ain't in the way. 5/8. And you're going to go ahead and do that to all 4 of your envelopes around these 2 corners. Okay. Yep. I think we all know how to do this part. Go ahead and seal, or not seal, but put together your envelopes, and you're going to make 4 of those. Okay, and that fits nicely standing up in here. Once you get your 4 in your cards, you'll be fine. Okay, so now you'll just take your 4x6. Again, you scored it on the 3-inch mark. I cut the mats for these. You can decorate them however you want, obviously. Where's my mats? Hello. Oh, here we are. I just used this little teacup paper, and I cut this to 2 3/4 by 4 3/4, and then that gives it a nice matted edge. And you're just going to go ahead and decorate your little cards. Now don't overdo it, because remember, you're going to have, they're all going to have to fit in here. So you'll have your note sets in your envelopes. So you don't want to make it too chunky. You're going to take your 1-inch by 12, and how I did this is I just kind of found the center. Get this out of the way. Found the center to where it was about even. It depends too. Now, if you want to put your embellishment kind of on the side, then you want to put your seam at the side. If you want to put your embellishment in the middle, then I would put your seam in the middle. So this one, I think I want to put it on this side. Now, because I like that little teacup. So I'll probably put it on this side. So I'm going to move it a little bit this way. Just fold my paper over gently, and I'm just going to kind of pinch so that I can get a good idea where those fold lines are going to go. Turn it around. Okay, and go all the way around, making this look a lot harder than it really is. Okay, so now I have a pretty good idea. Then I gently just pinch those fold marks. I don't really score them. Okay, so, and then at this point what I did was I took a pencil. It overlaps just a hair, probably 1/4 inch. So I take my pencil, and you're not going to see this because you're going to cover it up, and I just put a line there, and then I take my glue pen And I'm just gonna run some glue. This is the Zig squeeze and roll. I love this thing, especially for small little places that you have to get into. It's awesome. And then I'm just gonna go ahead and hold that down right there till it dries. Okay. Then you're gonna take your 1/4 inch pattern paper strip, and I just start here and I go ahead and first just kind of work it around, getting the same fold lines as what I had previously. I don't know why I'm so shaky. Probably because I'm nervous. Just kidding. And here, here. See how I'm doing that? Just want to kind of, because I don't want to try to, if you glue it down first it might work, but I always seem to get buckles when I do that. So I'm going to just do little pieces at a time. So I'm going to start on this side, and then I just get my tape runner and do these first 2 folds. Put that in. So I'm going to start right here in the center. Go around. Oh, that's not where I started. Hang on. My fold line's right here. I want to match up my fold line. Okay. Glue that there. And I've already done that side. This is really easy to work with because it folds so nicely, or you know, you can manipulate it, I guess I should say. Okay, and that. Go ahead and fold over. Again, the reason I do this, it just doesn't seem to buckle because you've already got your off camera, fold lines in. Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and do these last 2. And just stick it down centered. Centered. I'm a little off, but I think once you get an embellishment on there, it's not gonna show. And then you're just gonna slide that over like so. And then at this point is when I put my embellishment on. I just leave it here and I put a glob of glue or whatever and glue it on. Now you can cover the sides of this. You just again use 1-inch strips. Here I would just cut a 1-inch strip, and then I'd make like a template so that it would fit properly. Anyways, that's all there is to it. Decorate however you want, however little. Make great baby gifts, whatever. Oh, and this paper that I used is the Garden Tea Party stack. Could you imagine how many of these you can make? How many of these you can make with paper stack like this size? Anyhow, thanks for watching, guys. If you like, give me a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Good night. Toodles.